Hello everybody and welcome to the fastest half hour in the cryptid world, This Week in Bigfoot, the news show that scours the internet and the Bigfoot community each and every week to bring you the people, the places, and the stories making headlines around the Bigfoot world. Then we take it and we wrap it up in a nice, neat 30-minute package for you. If it has to do with Sasquatch, Bigfoot, or the Wildman, trust me, you know it, we've got you covered. Here's what we got on tap for this week's episode for the week of February 19th, 2024. Sora has arrived. So what does that word exactly mean to the Bigfoot community? We'll bring you up to speed on this groundbreaking and somewhat terrifying technology. Mike Luci takes another look into the Bigfoot Dirtbike video, this time with some recent enhancements, and Snowwalker Prime heads to the stables in a must-see 2 minutes with. These stories and more Bigfoot news than anywhere else, and you can take that to the bank. So you better settle in, buckle up, and pay attention, because we got a long way to go and a very short time to get there. Let's go.
911, what are you reporting?
He's walking upright like a man.
With someone or something going around out here.
But he went back up the mountain.
Get somebody out there.
What's going on now, sir?
That son of a bitch is about 6'9", I don't know. He's all black and big. He is big.
Over the last year or so, the Bigfoot community has become more and more cluttered with AI artwork of all kinds. From poorly fabricated hoax photos to so-called groundbreaking evidence claims, it's becoming harder and harder to distinguish the real deal from the deep fakes. Well, prepare yourselves, folks. It's about to get a whole lot worse. Recent groundbreaking developments in the land of artificial intelligence have led to the creation of Sora, a powerful text and video tool that can generate realistic and convincing videos from simple written descriptions. And while this technology has an immense potential in various fields, there are concerns about its potential misuse, particularly within communities that are already prone to speculation and hoaxes. Can you think of one? And so we kick off this week exploring both the benefits of and real-world possibility of Sora running amok in the Bigfoot community, potentially cluttering it with very realistic hoaxes. Sora, powered by OpenAI's advanced GPT 3.5 architecture, has the ability to transform simple written texts into visually compelling videos. As a matter of fact, every single video you see in this segment was created by Sora, some by Sam Altman during the product rollout. For example, this one.
Here's an instructional cooking lesson for homemade gnocchi hosted by grandmother social media influencer set in a rustic Tuscan country with kitchen with cinematic lighting.
The tool's ability to generate lifelike scenes, characters, and scenarios based on textual input has garnered attention worldwide. And while Sora holds a great promise for legitimate applications such as content creation, education, and storytelling, its potential for misuse raises serious concerns, especially with us here at This Week in Bigfoot, as we already weed through hours and hours of content searching for the real deal on a weekly basis. The Bigfoot community has a long and jaded history of encounters, claims, and hoaxes, with various colorful individuals claiming to have evidence of the creature's existence. From blurry photographs to shaky videos, the search for Bigfoot has been marked by a mix of researchers, genuine believers, and opportunistic hoaxers. Sora's simple text-to-video capabilities could add a new layer of sophistication to these hoaxes, making it even more challenging to separate fact from fiction. Sora is able to generate complex scenes with multiple characters, specific types of motion, and accurate details of the subject and the background. The model understands not only what the user has asked for in the prompt, but also how those things actually exist in the physical world. The model also has a deep understanding of language, enabling it to actively interpret prompts and generate compelling characters that express vibrant emotions. Sora can help create multiple shots within a single generated video that accurately depict characters and visual style. The current model does have its weaknesses, though. It may struggle with the physics of a complex scene and may not understand specific instances of cause and effect. For example, if a Bigfoot snaps a tree limb in half in a Sora video, Sora may not create splintered edges on the tree branch or flying bark pieces, yet. The model may also confuse spatial details of the prompt, for example, mixing up left and right, and may struggle with precise descriptions of events that take place over time, like following a specific camera trajectory. Imagine a scenario where a Bigfoot hoaxer, armed with detailed descriptions of an alleged encounter, uses Sora to generate highly convincing video of a Bigfoot sighting. The tool can bring to life the creature in a way that closely aligns with popular depictions, complete with realistic movements, sounds, and surroundings. The result, a video that could easily fool even the most seasoned Bigfoot researcher. The introduction of Sora-generated content, you can mark my words, will have significant consequences on the Bigfoot community. Legitimate research efforts will be further hindered as investigators will grapple with an influx of highly convincing yet entirely fabricated evidence. The potential for Sora to contribute to hoaxes in the Bigfoot community raises ethical questions about the responsible use of AI technology. So, while OpenAI Sora represents a remarkable leap forward in text-to-video technology, offering unprecedented possibilities in various creative and professional domains, its potential to contribute to realistic hoaxes here within the Bigfoot community highlights the need for ethical considerations, responsible use, and ongoing discussions about the impact of AI on our perceptions of reality. As technology continues to advance, finding a balance between innovation and ethical considerations becomes crucial to ensure positive contributions to society without compromising the technology of legitimate pursuits. Here we go, folks. Yikes.
So this was yet another video that originally planned on being a rundown clip, but wound up turning into my latest Factor Hoaxed. I first found it on the Sasquatch Mafia YouTube channel, who recently revisited this footage, which they said was first released on November 2011. I did find the original video. It first appeared on the channel of someone named Doug Johnson. It was published on October 24th, 2011. So Sasquatch Mafia was slightly off on the date, but not by a crazy margin. It was reportedly filmed somewhere in North Carolina. After providing some backstory details, Sasquatch Mafia attempted to zoom in and slow down the footage. Here's how it turned out. Although their enhancements helped give the figure a little more definition, I took it another step forward. In addition to zooming in, I also stabilized the footage, hoping it would bring out some extra details. One could argue the motion is reminiscent of a large cervix hind leg. We'll get to more on that in a second. Now, neither I nor Sasquatch Mafia were the first to analyze this footage. I wanted to show you an interesting clip from when Phil Poling, host of the Power Breakdown channel, examined it back in 2013.
That it is, in fact, a moose, of which we first see the hindquarters and left rear leg going over the side down the embankment, and later we see a profile of it down at the bottom of the bluff as the camera goes by.
So this brings us back to the point about the figure in question being a potential moose. Well, if this footage was in fact filmed in North Carolina, moose don't live there. However, the state does have a small elk population between 150 and 200 individuals. When one of my contacts reviewed the clip I made, he said it looked like the figure dropped something it was holding and didn't think it was a moose or elk's hind leg. That same contact also has an arborist background, so I asked him for feedback on any trees or plants he could identify in the footage. He was able to provide some revealing details that could potentially verify whether or not this video was in fact filmed in North Carolina. He said the trees and landscape look right for western North Carolina. He also noted that the trees look correct, identifying species like jack white and red pines, which align with the Appalachian Range's botanical ecosystem. He also said it looked like the trees were doing what they were supposed to at that time of year in terms of harvesting and regrowth stages. While these details about the potential location are important, we still have limited information on this video's full backstory. Definitely share any information you may have about this footage, especially if it's officially been debunked. Otherwise, until we find out more, you should know the drill by now. You're gonna have to decide for yourself if this dirt bike footage is fact or hoax.
This week, we're taking a look at John O'Connor's new book, The Secret History of Bigfoot, Field Notes on a North American Monster, as it's the latest Bigfoot book that hit shelves everywhere. But to those skeptics out there, if you want a book that's all about discrediting evidence and making those who believe in Bigfoot look like idiots, you're going to have to go find another book. The Secret History of Bigfoot, in my opinion, is a smart, engaging, incredibly informative book that not only looks into the history of Bigfoot in North America and the culture around it, but also an honest, heartfelt look at the people who obsess about it, the legend's lingering appeal, and psychology behind it. O'Connor, a journalist and self-proclaimed skeptic, like most, became fascinated with the Bigfoot legend. While writing The Secret History, he spent a year traveling coast to coast, talking to those who lived for Sasquatch and tracked Bigfoot in the untamed terrain of the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, so I wanted to have, kind of geographical dispersal, like north, south, east, and west. So I went to Kentucky, Texas, Pacific Northwest here, and specifically I was in the North Cascades. I went to Mount St. Helens, and then I drove west and drove south down into Oregon, what I always considered growing up to be the Goonies country.
Yes.
Know? And stopped and talked to some Bigfooters along the way and just did a lot of hiking and camping. And and I was also in the Berkshires back in Massachusetts.
His research and interviews also include psychologists and scientists, as he dives deep into everything from history and philosophy to politics and the flawed nature of memory. The result is one of the most compelling non-fiction books you'll most likely read all year. I got it free with my Audible subscription.
There's a writer named Peter Matheson who mostly known for a book called The Snow Leopard, which I'm a big fan of his. And he passed away a few years ago, but I found out that he was a Bigfooter. This is a guy who won the two.
Now, there are two elements that make this a fantastic read, or listen in my case. I would have read it, but due to time restraints, I really needed to listen to it. I much rather prefer a book. The first is the author's tone. As knowledgeable as he is funny, and as well read as he is self-deprecating, O'Connor quickly turns into the perfect narrator for this adventure. His quest for understanding is powerful, as he presents every person in this book with the same gravitas.
Sometime in the night, the noise started. Quietly at first, then less quietly. Then it grew urgent, then livid, until it was positively beside itself. A free-form, sphincter-shuddering howl, attended by a near-subliminal reverb coming just beyond my tent.
Now, yes, it is a funny book. At least I enjoyed it that way. I thought it was pretty hilarious. But it's also a very serious and enlightening one in which John O'Connor prefers to make fun of himself instead of others. The second element is the scope of the book. The book is about Bigfoot, about its history, and the people trying to find it.
Like a serious diehard Bigfooter is someone who spends their weekends, not every weekend, but many weekends, out in the woods, out in the wild places.
But John O'Connor somehow manages to take the discussion into unexpected places without ever straying far from the creature at the core of the narrative. Now, in my opinion, John O'Connor did an excellent job of navigating me through this book. I did learn a few things, but I didn't feel like he was trying to teach me, and he definitely didn't try to preach at me using his own beliefs. The Secret History of Bigfoot is a wonderful read about one of the most enduring myths in the United States. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and to be honest with you, I might actually order the paperback and read it all over again. The link to buy it or download it is where in the show's description.
Tonight's episode is sponsored by Larynx.
Well, looky here, folks. It's that time. We are officially halfway through episode 47, which can only mean one thing. It's the part of the show that we set aside each and every week to give to our buddy Snowwalker Prime, Michael Merchant, if you want to be formal. We give him screen time so he can speak his mind and get what's ever bothering him off his chest. This week, he's got a doozy. That's all I'm going to say about it. This is 2 Minutes With.
Echo Station 3K, spotted in Terry Walker. Echo Station 3PA, we have spotted Imperial Walker.
You are not going to believe what I have to share with you today. That I would believe. There's these people, and they've got proof that Sasquatch is braiding horses' manes. Testing me to see if I'll laugh, right? No, I'm always serious with you. I suppose you've got security camera footage of Bigfoot braiding a horse's mane? Well,
This thing was 10 foot tall.
No. You've got photographs of Bigfoot in the paddock braiding a horse's mane. That would be a no. You must at least have eyewitnesses that have seen Bigfoot braiding a horse's mane. No eyewitnesses. Nobody's seen him do it. If you don't have any video or photos and no one's seen him do it, what makes people think they do it? Well, these Bigfoot experts, you keep using those two words in the same sentence because that's what they are, Bigfoot expert. And they say this is not due to natural causes, that Bigfoot braids the manes of horses.
He had beautiful hair.
Even if this was true, which I doubt that it is, for what possible purpose would Bigfoot do such a thing? Well, you know, it's a trade with the horses. No, I don't know. You know the song, The Little Love Shack there? We can't get to know you. You've heard of that song, Love Shack? Yeah.
I got me a Chrysler and it's about 20, so hurry up and bring your jukebox money.
Yeah, so, well, you know, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I'm not sure what you're trying to imply here. The Bigfoot experts say that Sasquatch does this to the horses for certain favors from the horse. Oh my God, this is ridiculous. Which part? The whole part.
What do you mean, silly?
All the parts. Look, the wind could do this. The wind can't do that. That takes intelligent thought and opposable thumbs. I'm pretty sure horses kind of chew on each other's manes and make those things too.
We want to see your braid one more time.
Not these ones. These ones show a level of sophistication beyond that. You have to be able to tell the difference. Are you a horse mane expert? Is there such a thing? Yes, these are expert. No, I'm not a horse mane expert. Why would I be a horse mane expert? I'm just saying, you seem to act like you know what you're talking about. I do know what I'm talking about. You haven't even proven the existence of this cryptid, multi-dimensional hominid creature, beast, monster. You've yet to prove it's real. I thought we were beyond that. No, we're not. I think the evidence is pretty strong that these are being done by Bigfoot. Do you have any other collaborating evidence to suggest this? Oh yeah, you know that guy. He found a braid in the photo that was enhanced by that Todd guy. Oh good Lord.
Freeze frame!
What the hell are you talking about? He doesn't understand why anybody would stand in the way of this evidence. You should be jumping for joy. Look, I'm not standing in the way of anything. These photos, these images have been manipulated. They're not even starting with their original frame from the film. It's already been doctored by somebody. No, didn't use AI. They just tightened it up and removed the murk. Why is that so hard for you to understand? They're just making up terms that don't make any sense. No one has come out. Todd has not explained what programs he used to create this magical miracle where he suddenly brought stuff that wasn't even there to begin with, just tightened it up and removed the murk. You know, you really should work on this hostile attitude of yours. Look, I'm not hostile, but this is a load of malarkey. This is utterly ridiculous. These people are acting like they know what they're talking about when clearly they don't. Oh, looks like you're just standing in the way of progress. Even if this was real and all of this nonsense wasn't a circus act, it still wouldn't prove the existence of Sasquatch. It's simply a film. You don't know what it's a film of. Well, maybe you don't, but the experts do. You're just one of those stumbling blocks to progress. That's what you are. Trust me, I'd like to see some progress. It's a done deal. They've proven the existence of Sasquatch with this pristine footage.
Ah, horse shit!
And don't forget, there's 10 more seconds with a little baby that runs over to Patty. Naysayer. It's vaporware. You'll never see it. It doesn't exist. He's just making it up. Look, I don't want to rehash this. All I'm saying is that he found the herringbone braid on Patty, and they're saying, you know, that Bigfoot braids horses. I just say it.
And boom goes the dynamite.
It's collaborating evidence. All right, you guys want to go back? Let's go back. Come on. I can't believe you won't accept this. I can't believe people are still discussing this as if it has any merit. It has merit to a lot of people. A lot of people believe this. The number of people believing something has no bearing on the truth of the matter. What are you, a communist? You clearly are against democracy. I'm not against democracy, but this isn't democracy. There's no facts to back up this storyline. Hell, they won't even tell us where this mystical, magical frame came from. It just appeared on the internet. We don't even know what the provenance of it is. They don't really. No one knows where it came from. Not only does nobody know where it came from, nobody knows how Todd did this. He's never answered the question. People have asked him, he just breezes around it. Well, I upscaled, I downscaled, and I stacked. And voila! You can see Patty's eyelashes. Miracle of modern science. I didn't use AI. You know, I hate to say it, but you actually make some good points.
No!
Wild Bigfoot by Larix, the official hat of This Week in Bigfoot, sponsored by Larix.
Here he is again, our resident professor, Mike Luci, with the Bigfoot Rundown.
Welcome back to the Bigfoot Rundown. We got a couple of films, some powerline footage, and a weather report in store for you this week. Let's get rolling. So here's a clip from the trailer of that Bigfoot movie you've probably been hearing about. Take a look. From what I gathered, the movie, Sasquatch Sunset, appears to follow a 4-member family unit of Bigfoots in the North American wilderness. One of this film's big talking points is it stars Riley Keough, a grandchild of Elvis Presley. It looks like the movie has no dialogue and possesses some dark comedic elements. One thing I noticed was that the film seems to uphold a lot of conventional Bigfoot-related characteristics like whoops and howls, wood knocks, along with them walking in their own tracks. Sasquatch Sunset premiered at the Sundance Film Festival. It's being released in select theaters on April 12th, with a full release on April 19th. If you see it, definitely let us know what you think. Here's another goodie the guys from Paranormal Odyssey featured in a recent episode. Now, this video isn't brand spanking new, and it appears to be at least 1 to 2 years old. In fact, our friend Doug Highcheck examined this video on his show about a year ago, which helped me find out a lot of essential details. Here's a quick clip from Doug's analysis.
So if you look when it first starts walking, you'll just notice it almost looks like it's not even touching the ground because of the smoothness of their gait, if in fact it is a Bigfoot.
Yeah, it just glides.
You know, if you, one of the things you could do, Tyler, is get footage of yourself in that same, try to gauge about where it is. There's a few landmarks there. Get out there and film yourself walking, or have somebody film you walking to show the difference.
This video was allegedly recorded in the Florida Panhandle near the Florida Trail close to the Alabama state line. The witness named Tyler Howell says he took this video on an iPhone 13 around 2:30 p.m. and was about 564 yards away from the figure in question. Tyler claims he took this footage during archery season, and in this part of Florida, archery season went from October 22nd to November 23rd in fall 2022, giving us a potential date range. Make sure to watch the full Paranormal Odyssey episode along with Doug's breakdown before making your official ruling on this footage. Also, check out Tyler's YouTube channel, Tyler Howell Outdoors. You'll find links for everything in the video's description. A new documentary called Sasquatch and Science, Bigfoot Beyond Belief was released on YouTube last week. It follows our friend and Olympic Project member Amy Boo, who discusses her collective Project Zoo book, Bigfoot research's slippery relationship with mainstream science, and her investigations of Allegheny National Forest.
And it's like making me get, just telling it, comes the worst yell that I've ever heard. It was so loud and so powerful. I was actually worried that I was having heart rhythm, something, palpitations, I'm not sure, but something was going on. I don't know what it was, but this is something I'll never forget. And for a long time afterwards, I really would wake up with nightmares from it.
Amy shares stories of her own potential Bigfoot experiences and how she tries getting more members of the scientific community involved in studying this phenomenon.
I get a lot of questions about why more scientists aren't involved or why they're not more interested. And I have learned that there are a few different reasons. First of all, there are more scientists than you think who are interested in this, and they don't want to lose their job. Not everybody has that concern, but it is a very legitimate concern for some.
And yeah, make sure to check out the full documentary along with Amy's work at Project Zoo Book and the Olympic Project. You'll find links to everything in the video's description. We got more trackway pictures to cover. I sort of dragged my feet with these. I know we've been covering a ton of snowy trackway stories on the rundown lately, but I couldn't overlook how much engagement these pictures received. They were posted in the Sasquatch Highway Facebook group on February 13th, and as of writing this segment, their post has over 1,000 comments, 11,000 reactions, and was shared more than 750 times. The Facebook user claims her niece, who lives in Kingston, Tennessee, sent these pictures. The tracks were described as massive, although it doesn't seem the stride in between them is too particularly long. The Facebook user says they came down from a ridge before going off path into the woods. For context, Kingston is about 25 to 30 miles from downtown Knoxville, so this isn't necessarily in the middle of nowhere. And yeah, the story definitely would be a compelling example of more alleged Bigfoot activity happening close to urban areas. As always, drop a line in the comments, sharing your thoughts on what you think. Did a meteorologist unknowingly catch Bigfoot on film?
Is at the lowest elevation of the Wyoming Valley here, and it's about ankle deep. Even here at the lowest spot in Wilkes-Barre, it's snowing hard and it's accumulating. It's a beautiful sight. It looks amazing.
As you can see, he really tried dragging this along, but all things considered, this was probably staged, clearly meant to be some sort of joke. I know some of you might find stories like this to be annoying and not worth your time, but hey, at least now you know where these pictures and videos come from in case they resurface anywhere in the near future. This photo spread like wildfire after the YouTube channel Strange Spotting did a breakdown on it last week.
I've already expounded the extreme complexity of the subject's skin, and I'm going to add here that the imperfections are absolutely asymmetrical, which is an ulterior element of realism. But there are two more features which may escape a less vigilant observer. Do you notice anything strange about this creature's wrinkles? I do.
It was first found on a Facebook page called Colton Squatch Watch. It was posted on June 22nd, 2022, with the caption, "Can't get much clearer than this." Some people believe this picture came from a website called Satan Fudge, which does digital artwork of cryptids and paranormal beings. A reverse image search helped me find a Reddit thread with some revealing details. It traced the picture back to a YouTube channel for someone called Phil Shaw. So the picture was actually a thumbnail on his channel for a video titled Tom's Eyeshine Sighting in the Rifle River Wreck Area near Lupton, Michigan, which was published on December 6th, 2021. I haven't found anything earlier showing this image, which may or may not come from Satan Fudge. We still don't know that yet. And yeah, there's more information about Satan Fudge's artwork and this story in particular in the video's description.
Bigfoot Rundown. We here at This Week in Bigfoot pride ourselves on engaging with you, our audience, to provide you with a storyline in a fair and unbiased way, so you can take your time and make up your own minds about what you see or hear here on the show on a weekly basis. We are also very interested in what you think. Very interested. We recently ran 2 polls on our community page directly related to stories we mentioned here on the show. The first being a cryptid belief poll from the segment in episode 41, the second, the more recent jellyfish UAP update from episode 44. As promised, here are the results. Here are the polls from which cryptid you believe exists. 83% of you, not surprisingly, had Bigfoot as your favorite. 11% believed in the Yeti. Surprisingly, there were 3% that still believe in mermaids and 2% that believe in the Loch Ness Monster. It's interesting, more people believe in mermaids than the Loch Ness Monster. As far as what you thought of the jellyfish UAP, 19% thought it was real, thought it was aliens and they're watching us. 37% thought it was a secret military spyware, 14% thought it was only stray helium balloons, and 29% of you had the nerve to say that you honestly didn't know. Now, we really appreciate your active participation in these polls. We will continue to put them up as much as we can, and if you have any suggestions, let us know at thisweekinbigfootnewscast@gmail.com.
Hey, this is Chuck Larson. You're watching the CARC channel on YouTube.
It's time once again for Chuck Larson and this week's Top Picks.
Evening, everybody. It's Chuck Larson again with my top 3 podcasts and live streams for the week of February 19th, 2024. Number 3 this week, it's Dixie Cryptid, Something Worse Than Bigfoot, a story by Neoma Finn. In this episode, the narrator tells his niece about the history of his property and his scary experiences with Bigfoot.
I wasn't about to get close enough to find out what unseen creature was attacking us. We'd gone to the drive-in the weekend before and came to camp for summer and seen invisible invaders. And as far as I was concerned, there was a Martian hiding in those reeds, and it was going to catch us and eat us like a catfish. "Where you going?" I screamed. "I'm going home," Stevie yelled back from the bank, where he was already grabbing up his clothes and shoes. Well, I took one more look around at the black tree line, the deep shadowy pockets of the marsh and the narrow bank before screaming, "Wait for me!"
Coming in at number 2, it's Wide Open Research, 4 terrifying Bigfoot encounters with the hosts. This is another great podcast on the Untold Radio Network. On this episode, Dr. Russ Jones and Brad Kenner talk about Bigfoot encounters that are too good to believe.
I kept my eyes moving between the one below me and the direction of the disturbance coming down the hill. As it moved toward our position, it began to make noises like I have never heard before. I would ordinarily not be able to describe the noise, but I have read where other people have described it as a record being played backwards. I would have to say that's a very close description. It was as if it was speaking a language, but nothing I had ever heard before.
And number 1 this week is Bigfoot Territory on the Squatch Mafia channel, Episode 9, The Vietnam Rock Apes, complete documentary. Listen to these compelling documented encounters, including encounters with the U.S. military during the Vietnam War. Check it out.
An American platoon heard screams and roars during a night patrol and were told by the local guides that these are the screams of the foul monkey, or stench monkey, a dangerous predator. On the next morning, the platoon found the bodies of multiple dead Viet Cong soldiers in the direction from which they heard the screams the night before. The bodies were so brutally dismembered and beaten to death that some of the U.S. soldiers were traumatized by the events and asked to be transferred from their platoon in the jungle.
All right, folks, as you know, all good things must come to an end. That being said, episode 47 is now in the record books. I'd like to thank you for watching and remind you to like and share everything we do here at the Catskill Appalachian Research Collective. And tell your friends. And if you have any questions or additional comments, or maybe a story you'd like to see us do for the show, you can always drop us a line at thisweekinbigfootnewscast@gmail.com. So, until next week, for Mike Luci, Chuck Larson, and Snowwalker Prime, I'm Brendon Brown, reminding you that when it comes to getting your Bigfoot news, be informed, not biased. Take care. We'll see you next week.